it opens with Sun as a Whole, Sun as Vapors, and it's 5 minutes that feels like when you listen to Godspeed albums, it warps because
It does.
5 minutes feels like a 30-second intro for a Godspeed album.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my autumn-loving co-host, Alexander Volts. Say hello.
It's my time of year. Fall. Let's go.
This is Every Album Ever, podcast where we listen to every single album in the world. Usually it's a whole discography per episode, except for EAE singles episodes like this one, where we talked about something that just came out, something brand new, something from this year. And today we will be discussing...
I apologize if I screw up the title of this. I should have asked you before we went on air. But it's the latest album by Godspeed You, Black Emperor, entitled No Title, as of the 13th of February, 2024, 28,340 dead.
A little bit of a mouthful.
Also,
a little bit depressing.
Real depressing reference to the numbers of death
Gaza, yeah.
in Gaza. And then, my dyslexia screws me up on numbers so bad. In America, we don't put the day before the month. So I'm like, I don't know if I say 13th of February. Do they say 13 February?
That's a good ass question. I don't know either.
Some of our international listeners inform us, please.
Or Tom, our history guy, who, he's very much a Europe man. I remember hearing an argument from Jim Jeffries like many years ago. It's like, I get it. Actually, does make more sense. The metric system makes more sense. That makes more sense because day, month, year, it goes from smallest to greatest. Like that makes a lot more sense than us. We're like, no, it is February 13th. Like it seems a little bit.
That's my ugly American.
Needlessly complicated.
No, that's my ugly American thing. I like the month before.
It's easier to say. I think it's stupider to read.
You think it's stupider to read? I think it's clean because in my head, I know where the months are. So like when I read like 13, that can be anything. That can be what are we doing? 13 what?
13 days. There's no 13 months. What else would it be?
But like where, like what time of year? When you say the month first, I'm already like painting a picture. I know it's winter. I know it's fall. If I just have the number of the day first, that could be anything. It could be anything.
It could be anything. Goddammit.
The month, like it narrows you down. The month narrows you down at least. By my logic, we should be going year, month, day. Because
that would be straight up retarded. It is 2024, the year of our Lord.
Yes.
It is the 13. Really? No, you're not kidding. You actually prefer the year first?
Well, going by my own bullshit logic, I like the month first, but like by my bullshit logic, like for historical reference, if you had like the year first, you're like narrowed down even more, and then you have the month. And then you're like zoned
a little
in.
tedious when we're talking about like
documents.
Next week on 2024, the 15th of like November, like that would be.
Well, no, you would still. This is like a Seinfeld Larry David rant. You would still say like, oh, we're meeting on the 15th, like in language.
But in print, put the year first. Damn it.
Because I'm assuming international people, like, if they're not like they probably just say the 13th or the 15th or what. They're not saying the month.
I don't know because I haven't been there long enough to like decipher like the little lexicon. But I will say that I did get pretty accustomed to using military time, which is just time in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually makes more sense because
I think
instead of having two different of the same times a day, I guess in a very simple sense, it makes sense.
That one makes sense to me. I would be on board for that one. Although whenever I read it, my brain's like, I'm stupid. I need AM, PM. But that one makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyways,
I'm gonna have to cut out so much of that because we talked for like 5 straight minutes about clocks and time.
No, I think the world needs some silly shit right now.
Oh man,
I say you edit it, so it's clean, but you keep it in.
You got it. So anyway, lengthy title. It's a very political title. Godspeed tends to do that. And the album, if you know us at all, you know that we're very big fans of Godspeed, and they have lately not disappointed. At least like the past 3-4 albums. Alex, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I don't really think they miss. Like,
there's a couple albums I'm not too big on, but I wouldn't say they're bad albums. I would say they're still very good albums, just not as like godlike like some of the other ones.
Do you like the band Godspeed? Did you listen to Explosions in the Sky and you were like, this is for pussies, I need something more intense? I do like Explosions in the Sky, though.
Never listened to them.
What?
Never. I started with Godspeed.
That's
in terms of like epic post rock stuff.
That was like the first like all instrumental band I got like heavy into. And I'm sure I haven't listened to them in a while. I'm sure they're like complex songwriters, but compared to like this, it's a little simpler.
Right. So as for this album, I'm just call it no title for simplicity's sake. I take it you like it.
Yes, I do like it.
It is very good.
Yes.
And that's the end of the episode. It is very good. It is unsurprisingly very good. At this point, like the past few Godspeed albums have been like so damn good. It's like, all right. I didn't even like, I didn't even need to listen to it to know it was great, but obviously it's great.
Sometimes when you're consistently good, the world kind of takes you for granted because it's like, oh, of course, they rule. And if think that's like the case with Godspeed, where if where if they went away, the world would miss them dearly. But like, it's like a good basketball player. Like, oh, they put up a double tonight. Of course they did. It's
a really good album. It's one of my favorite from the year. Also, not a surprise. I don't like it as much as the previous album, which of course I would butcher that title too. What is it? Godspeed at State End or something like that. That one, I really, really love that album. And this is a very good album. There's only one moment that kind of dips for me. And it's a very lengthy moment. So that's just the way it goes. But even the one dip moment for me, I could see not even being close to weak to many people. It's just not my style.
Also, because of the nature of the band, their albums have always been like more like a movie. It starts here, it ends here. You're not going to skip scenes in a movie. Well, maybe some people do, but you know what? I'm skipping the old people sacrifice scene in Midsummer because I'm getting older and that's just too much for me right now. So
it's upsetting.
I'm skipping that, but my point still stands. Most people are like skipping.
Yeah. This is not Godspeed is not a band whose albums you flip through. Although there's just moments where you can maybe find one. It's like, oh, that's a good isolated shorter song, but there aren't too many. There aren't too many of those, honestly. If you look at the whole discography, relative to other post rock bands. So this one. Yeah, 6 tracks, 3 of them extremely lengthy, 13 minutes, 11 minutes, 2 13 minutes and an 11 minute.
As they do.
And yep. So like it opens with Sun as a Whole, Sun as Vapors. And it's 5 minutes that feels like when you listen to Godspeed albums, time it warps because 5 minutes feels like a 30-second intro for a Godspeed album.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like how it kind of starts off like this drony psychedelic thing. And the, I don't know if you've ever heard like Middle Eastern blues musicians like Bonobo. That's the one off the top of my head.
No.
Or I may have said his name wrong. I apologize. Cause there's also an electronic artist. I apologize. but yeah, I think it's like they all kind of play like these Middle Eastern blues psychedelic musicians. They all kind of play in that same guitar tone that they have on this opening track, and it has like this mellow Western feel.
Yes, there's some Westernness to it, but it's not in any kind of characteristic like you don't think immediately spaghetti Western, but it's in the same universe. But it's angelic, and the way they swell in and they kind of glide in and out, and then the drums are sort of drifting and spacious, and they're just there to kind of fill the space. There's hints of it sounding a little bit militaristic, but it's more atmospheric. It's more floaty. It's a beautiful intro. It is Godspeed. It's Godspeed as fuck. That's just really what it is.
Yeah. And then the next song, you get these like more like somber guitar effects ringing out when the bass and drum comes in. I don't know if upbeat's the right word for it, but they're kind of playing on the upbeat. It does the Godspeed thing, and the tempo increases. It doesn't have and I guess they do this in other songs, but like when you think like the big crescendo is going to come, they don't give it to you. They have, some of their trademark string instrumentation going on, and then you get like the big crescendo at the end.
It's a big ass song. We're talking about Babies in a Thundercloud. And yeah, so it's 13 and a half minutes, and the Godspeed builds. That's just what they do. They start from nothing, and they take 10 minutes, and then they build it and build it. And I mean, it's beautiful. They do it well. They are very seasoned at it. It sounds as good as always. It takes about almost 5 full minutes for the rhythm section to actually come in, but it's a really good payoff. It's a gut-wrenching, heartbreaking piece. I fucking love it. It's probably my favorite song on the album. Makes me a little bit emotional. Just the sounds and the frequencies. It's just a moving piece.
Yeah, I think this album, given the title, should make people emotional.
It's clearly the intent to sort of like tug at your soul a little bit, but they've always done that.
Yeah.
So, but that one, it goes through a couple different changes. The last big change happens around 10 minutes in with these, big distorted guitars. It's wonderful. It's up there with the great Godspeed songs, I would say. The following track, Raindrops Cast in Lead, is the other 13-minute song, and this is the one I'm not as big on. I still think it's a good song, but it is it's a little, I don't know, too happy for me. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but a little bit too happy for me.
Yeah, given the title, I did note that it starts off with like these spacey satellite beeps, which I forget. I'm not good with Godspeed album titles. The
one with the letters and
the
things,
rocket.
one with Steve Albini. The one with Steve Albini.
The one with the rocket on it. And then yes, I was like, despite the dire title, it is pretty upbeat.
Yankee UXO.
That's the one.
Yeah.
You all knew. Don't shame me.
My least favorite Godspeed album, by the way. From what I remember, I haven't heard it in like 6-7 years. So I could change that opinion.
I didn't come prepared to talk about the entirety of their career. That's a different episode. Yeah, I really like the strings on it. And another reason I think you don't like this song, because around like the 9:20 mark, there's some shades of Velvet Underground's Black Angel's Death song going on there.
I didn't even think of that song specifically, but it is extremely garage rock. I don't know if I could think of a single time where they've ever sounded like garage rock.
Yeah, right when it came in, I was like, oh, Mike might hate might hate this.
I don't hate it, but I definitely don't love it. It's funny because it still has the Godspeed structure of like this super duper slow build, and then it keeps going, and then it adds these fucking these strings, and it does all the things. And then even when the garage rock section comes on, it still really builds for a long ass time into this big epic thing. Except it's just this fucking garage rock riff that I'm like, I'm not feeling that.
Well, yeah, like the way the strings, I don't know if it was intentional or just like accident, but like I immediately thought of that song when I heard it. So I don't know.
That makes way more sense because the VU violas and all that, and
there's a lot
of
there's a lot of like those like strings going on with the building and the way that those like jammy Velvet Underground songs do.
Yeah, Velvet Underground is like my all the swords are pointed at me moment where I don't like them. I'm sorry, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But they're also a band where I feel the duty to return to every like decade.
Oh wow.
To be like, maybe I'll change my mind. And so far I haven't. Every time I return, I'm like, I still fucking hate the band. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I have any bands like that, honestly.
One day maybe I'll like them in some way, but so far everything that they influence, I think, is 10 million thousand times better than them.
Let's get some John Cale on this.
I get that he has merit, but I don't like a single John Cale song. Except, I will.
Your soul just knows too, even before you read the credits. You're like, I hate this song. John Cale's probably on it, and like
sure enough, it's a John Cale cover or something like that.
Yeah, I will give 9 out of 10 times. You're right.
The one I will give it up for was when I saw Swans earlier this year. Christoph from Swans was opening. Just him solo. And he did a cover of John Cale's cover of Heartbreak Hotel. And that was quite good.
Okay.
That was actually very cool. It's a total different, obviously a very, very different song from the Elvis version. But I was like, all right, I'll give him that. I haven't heard the original cover version, but I heard the cover of the cover. Whatever, I'm rambling.
Also, while we're on side quests, I was at school the other day, and someone's cell phone, for fans of the Ghetto Boys episode, someone's cell phone was, "You ain't nothing but a hound," and in my head, I was just doing that on loop.
The fucking Ghetto Boys, "You ain't nothing, you ain't nothing,
you ain't." Yeah, I was just doing that in my head after. I'm like, my brain is a fucking labyrinth of music,
all the crap that we listen to all the time, just terrible Ghetto Boys albums, good ones too, but also terrible ones. Oh shit.
Okay, sorry, I probably should have shared that with you off camera, but
whatever. But yeah, so Raindrops Casting Light is my least favorite of the bunch, and I found myself enjoying it less on multiple listens. Just because, like, okay, I know what it's going to do. I know where it's going. I already feel like I now remember exactly how I feel about this section. It's not really taking me on the journey that, like, it feels like that song is going to sound like, I mean, it is a bit of a jab. It sounds like I'm on a roller coaster designed for toddlers.
That is a weird jab. I don't got any jabs.
Like, because I feel like it's going through the motions. I could feel and understand why it's exciting, but it just doesn't do it for me. Following that, we have I guess you can consider it like a 3-minute transition track.
Yes, this
Broken Spires at Dead Capital.
Yes, this is my favorite. This 3-song.
Oh yeah, this is the second half.
This is my favorite section of the album. Like, this is what like did it for me. Yeah, it's this very ominous soundscape, very droney. I thought it was kind of going to be a soundscape, but once these like strings come in, and
the fucking boom, the big old giant thuds, and the bowed bass comes in.
Yeah, and it like because those are important because it like bleeds into the next song. Pale Spectre Takes Photographs, and man, that bass riff is so heavy and so fucking cool.
Oh yeah,
and just like when I think of like Godspeed, it's a song like this, borrowing some darker elements from Swans, especially when those like
The
bells and yep, we're on the same page here, baby.
Oh yeah, I wrote on the same shit, dude.
Yes.
Like so the bleed between the previous track and this one is like a good 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes. It takes like 3.5 minutes for a pale spectator takes photographs to start. And yeah, that bass line, it's like I don't have many instances I remember of Godspeed ever sounding that twisted and like kind of sinister. That's a twisted ass bass line.
It is a new like layer. It's weird because it is a new layer in their game, but it makes sense.
It does, and then the melodies there have a distinct Middle Eastern feel to it. Not like cheesily Middle Eastern, not like Arabian Nights Middle Eastern, and just sort of like it has just hints of it.
I think that's like similar to the opening track too, where it's like not the like psychedelia, the sitar stuff. It's these different elements.
Yeah, and then the size, like, so the bells thing, the clanging bells really reminded us both of Swans, but it's also like the size of the song that you feel like there's a giant army of musicians doing all this stuff, and that's like that very big open sound that modern day Swans has. And then around 6:20 it reins it back in, and then it goes just extremely Godspeed, like what we know as yes, heartbreaking, gorgeous, the strings, electric bass with this really kind of interesting drum beat, and then from there builds back up, speeds back up, does the whole thing all over again.
Yeah. I guess I consider it one song, but yeah, that's like my favorite. That's my favorite song on the album. It's 2 songs, but it doesn't make sense without the others. So
yeah, I was wondering why it's not just one track.
Yeah,
you could. Yeah,
you guys have
there's
long
no fucking
songs.
good excuse. Huh?
They already have long songs. Maybe for like. Also, I just found out. I didn't realize the vinyl version is uncharacteristically longer than the digital one. I should have looked it up. It says an ambient reprise of Grey Rubble coming in at 13 minutes.
Holy shit.
So
a vinyl exclusive bonus track? Is it the first ever? What the fuck?
Because we did the entire Swans discography, and on some of their newer albums, they had to cut songs off the. Make them shorter. Yeah.
The entire reunion era, every album, maybe except for the first one, my father got me up to the sky. All the ones like from the Seer onward, everything has to get cut. Like, and then the Beggar, the most recent album, the entire 45-minute song is only available digitally. Like, they didn't even bother with that, which I guess makes sense. But speaking of weird fitting of music onto vinyl, like the most frustrating one that I've experienced is Secret Chiefs 3. Trace Bruins from Mr. Bungle, his band, his crazy giant band. I bought one of their 7 inches at a show. It was their cover of Danse Macabre, which is one of the greatest covers ever. And the song is too long for a 7-inch, so they cut the song in half and then put it on each side. So I was like, it's so unusual to hear half of a song and then flip it and then hear the rest of the half. So I fucking ripped it and then I edited it together so it could be one long song. But anyway, the things that we have to do sometimes for vinyl.
I think it can be kind of cool. On some Volta albums, there are songs like that where they like. I think I may be wrong. Some of them they get like creative and they have like a part where it like loops and you can like. Or it like kind of fades, and then when you put the second one, it like fades into when you flip it over. But anyways,
right.
Another strong point on the album, and I'm
the closer.
Yes, which I'm curious to hear this ambient 13, 15 minute, whatever it was version.
13 minute, yeah.
Grey Rubble, Green Shoots. In my head, I was like, okay, it's the end. We're winding down here, maybe like a bookends thing, like where it'll be minimal, but this is like a very like dire sounding, like dark waltz. It like could be the theme for a supervillain. I love the strings on it. It's like one of the most cinematic. I mean, their whole thing's being cinematic, but like the most cinematic song on the album. Like you could throw this in a trailer, no problem.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It starts off minimal, and it kind of sets it up like it's gonna wind down the album. But man, when the drums come in, it feels absolutely wonderful. And it's painful. It's painful and gorgeous, just like lots of melodies here. My only gripe with it is that it doesn't really uncharacteristic of Godspeed. It kind of just ends. Which I appreciate the brevity is not the right word. I appreciate this because it's not. I guess the succinctness, just the like, all right, and it's over.
Because it's way better than a bitch ass fade.
Bitch ass quick fade outs are the worst thing in the world. Yeah. But when you're hearing an album this like fucking emotional and it hurts and like it's really beautiful,
like you kind of want it to ring out.
You want to just like let it sit and then you can like kind of like wake up after it's over a little bit. So it kind of leaves you a little bit like almost like someone woke you up out of a dream.
Well, when you say it like that, it sounds pretty fucking cool, Mike.
It is a cool album. It's a very cool album.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that it's almost getting old that this band keeps putting out great albums.
Like I said, sometimes consistently great people, whether they're artists or athletes, yeah, sometimes I'm sure their fans are thankful and they know, but the world kind of, it's like, oh, like it's so stupid. Oh, you're good at your job. Oh, cool. Like business as usual.
Business as usual.
But it's not. It's not business as usual.
No. I suppose we're especially spoiled this year because this year has been so freaking amazing with bands putting out new albums. I mean, some of the like at least I can name 3 at the top of my head right now of bands or artists that have put out their best album this year. Like that's pretty crazy. That's already like, so we're getting like a lot of good stuff, but we shan't get comfy because bands like Ghost exist where they were great and now they fucking blow. That happens. We lose good artists to, their choices. Well, whatever. I lose it. I lost it. It's my opinion. I don't fucking, whatever. Plenty of people like Ghost. They're doing very well. But like we don't appreciate that. Like, oh yeah, I guess they won't always be amazing when a good band finally puts out like an average album. This is the kind of stuff you I don't know, you jump up and down and get excited for. I mean, not really for this album because it's extremely depressing, but
I'll use the word
sentiment.
Cherish. You should
cherish. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's beautiful. I remember the previous album, it was 2021 and that was another like super competitive year. Like that would have been album of the year if it wasn't for it. I think like it was Idols came out that year, just like this year. Lingua Ignota came out with her last album that year. What else fucking was it? I think Ghostbath put out one that I was blown away by. Like there was like a million great albums that year. So it's like Godspeed, you can't forget Godspeed. We almost forgot to do an episode on God. Like, come on, man. Oh God damn it.
We didn't forget. We just scheduling. But
prioritize other things first.
Next year, I think we've figured out a way to rectify this. We got something in the back pocket. So
yeah. Things coming. We'll see how it works out. I'm excited. But even though I completely agree about the second half being just flawless, that one track just dipped the pacing for me. And the thing is, it's a 13-minute song. It's a 13-minute song. If something dips for 13 minutes, it's not a bad song. I think it's a good song. Just sandwiched between fucking juggernauts like that, it feels noticeably weaker.
Normal fans won't. I'm sure some will.
If
there's no way you're the only one. You're never the only one, right? There's always.
I imagine if people don't have as much hatred or I don't hate garage rock, but if people are like a little bit more open to garage rock than me, then they'll be okay with that. I like the Stooges and Nuggets. That's like my garage rock. That's what I like. But other than that, I'm not super big on it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I could have like looked up an interview or something, but yeah, on the wiki there's this not really too much information here.
Yeah, it's pretty barren. Aside from the all of their titles, even if there's like a direct point or a message in it, they're always so fucking annoying format wise.
F sharp, A sharp, infinity sign.
Yeah, like exactly. I actually find Yankee UXO the most annoying of the titles because I there's no way in hell I'll ever remember that name just because of the way it looks, which I guess it actually is actually kind of interesting and kind of cool. But as for the title, the statement, I appreciate, like, they're super political. I don't agree with their politics for the most part, but I appreciate like them going hard with it. Like I always like love when artists go like super into it. The wording of this pisses me off because it's so like vague. The statement is no title equals what gestures make sense while tiny bodies fall, what context, what broken melody, and then a tally and a date to mark a point on the line, the negative process of the growing pile. I appreciate the message. The wording is annoying.
It's very poetic.
Yes.
For listeners,
which I guess of the is also cool.
For listeners of the show, your boy's taken an English class, reading more poetry than I would like. Although
than you would like, you say.
Although sometimes for lit majors, William Blake's Tiger comes along, and I'm like, you know what? Kind of cool. Kind of a cool poem.
As a guy who's stated on this podcast so many times about how much I don't care about lyrics, because when I'm listening to music, I'm listening to music. Lyrics I find to be a separate journey. If I'm going to dip into the lyric stuff, then I want to kind of like spend separate time for that. It's almost like I'm listening to two different types of music. If I'm listening to it for lyrics, it's a completely different experience. So I tend to focus more on just like music. But lately, I've been dipping my hand and my toe into a little bit more lyric based stuff. I have I bought the knot from Michael Gira of Swans. I got it at the show when I saw them last, and just flipping through that and just kind of perusing some of the, because it's a collection of lyrics and journal entries from the entirety of Michael Gira's career, every Swans album, except for The Beggar, and then every Angels of Light, all the solo stuff, just everything. And looking at these lyrics and kind of just stepping aside and appreciating this, like, yeah, this guy's fucking troubled. And I don't know, there's something kind of pretty about it and nice, even when it's extremely fucked up. The Knot is not a book you read if you want to be in a good mood. It's really depressing. But even when I'm talking all this shit, I'm mostly joking, but I'm talking shit about like how they worded this thing in their statement. I still appreciate it because it's not douchey. It's just vague and artsy.
Yes, vague and artsy. But also it's like it makes its statement for those who know, and then like for those who don't, they're not, God bless physical media, but it's not like, man, remember when Target and Best Buy used to sell fucking albums and movies? Anyways, but like no one's gonna see it in a record store, not like normal middle America goes into middle record. I guess my point doesn't stand, but
there's no record stores, just period. There's like 3 record stores in the country left.
But yeah, no one's gonna like walk past it and be like, oh, those I don't even know those pesky anti-capitalist Godspeed.
Yeah, there's it's not super controversial. That's kind of the only problem I have when bands get political, is if like it's not surprising So like as much as I appreciate the sentiment of this, and I appreciate most of where they're coming from, even if I don't agree. But if I just like to be surprised when it comes to basically anything, when it comes to art, when it comes to points of views, I just want to just show me something interesting, show me something new.
Well, these days, I mean, I don't know what's fucking new. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like at the point where I'm like, should I start listening to Crass? Like that's where I'm.
That's where I'm. See why not? It's a good ass band. I mean, check it out from Crass. I'm not gonna say underrated because they're pretty beloved, but for my whole life, I didn't appreciate them except for like one album, and then going back like, oh, yeah, that's a good ass band.
I might have like the Ween effect where I was like shell shocked by the music, and now that I'm like listening to it for pleasure, I'm like, hell yeah.
I have a weird because when we listen to so much music, I get these associations. Oftentimes, I play like some sort of mindless or like any kind of video game I can play without sound. I'll listen to albums. So now I have a permanent association of Crass with the game The Witness, which two things that couldn't be further apart, like thematically and aesthetically. The Witness is this peaceful, quiet puzzle game where it's like beautiful and there's good scenery, and then Crash.
Of course they let. I forget. Well,
of course I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Godspeed is Godspeed. If you like them, you like them, and if you don't, you're probably just impatient. I would say that. Because it's really some of the most beautiful shit I've ever written. And this album is wonderful. I mean, I love it as much as the previous one, but it's still one of the best of the year. Easily one of my favorites that's come out this year. I mean, fuck. If you're okay with setting aside the time and not skipping anything, just paying attention, even reading or something, you'll feel it. It's emotional. It's good stuff. Goddamn.
Yeah. Also, I may be wrong. Is this like one of their shorter albums? Because I think you're right with what you said, where like the time kind of warps, but by the end of it, I was like, that felt kind of brief for Godspeed. I was like getting ready to like hunker. I guess it's the same as Godspeed.
They have like a couple 40-minute albums. They have like several. I think we're so disoriented because of that album right behind me. Lift Your Skinny Fists. That one is, an hour and 20 or over an hour and 20.
UXO.
But most of them aren't that long.
UXO is, I mean, those are like the two big ones to me.
All right. Yeah. Holy shit. UXO also has an extended vinyl version.
Okay. But yeah, the CD version is no slouch either.
No. Not as long as Skinny Fist, but still quite long. But anyway, yeah. Check it out. It's out now, of course. This is a long time coming episode. But yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, you know what to fucking do. Like it, like the video, subscribe, talk some shit in the comments, tell us why we're idiots. And if you would like, follow me on all social media at PandaMonkey and Alex Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
Please follow our history guy, Tom Osman, at Tom Osman Sounds on all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for all his music and his podcast, Whatever Comes Next, where he interviews a bunch of indie musicians. It's very cool stuff. Links to that in the description. You can check out my EP. Links to that in the description as well. And baby, patreon.com/everyalbumever. That's where you go. You get 2 bonus episodes a month. You get to see our schedules in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You can join the Discord, be a part of the community, hang out with us, and suggest EA singles episodes like this one. So if an album came out this year, the year is pretty much done. But next year, new albums come out. You want to hear us talk about it, throw one in there, we'll do it. And if you're tier 2, then you can suggest a full ass, big, long, hopefully not too long, but full discography for us to cover on our bigger, longer numbered episodes. In addition to any album from anywhere. And we'll do Patreon bonus episodes on those. So there's a bunch of stuff to do. It's very cool, very jam-packed. Go there, do that. Thank you. Wrapping it up. So this is a hard album to pick a song to end it with because they're all so connected. I think a fair and succinct enough would be Grey Rebel, Green Shoots.
I was going to agree, if only for brevity purposes.
It's a decent length. It doesn't connect from the ending of the song before it too much, so it kind of stands on its own a little bit. I think it's a nice.
It is the single too, so.
Fair enough. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.